I'm hurt, but such is life. I'm surprised, but okay.
And I just feel like, so is it
I'm unharmed yet, that's the way things are. I'm surprised yet oak. And I simply feel like so. Is it me like no, I mean no and negative. And I just felt like regardless of where I go, I'm undependable. So group blemish Braxton's life partner. Will X is presently emerging to debate her cases, that he was the issue in the relationship. See Tamar, as of late emerged to address Jeremy's separation declaration. And she sort of painted Jeremy as the antagonist, yet Jeremy is currently applauding back and guaranteeing that he unloaded her since she was only excessively poisonous. For him to think about now, this separation is ending up being a hopeless train wreck, cause Jeremy accompanied receipts just to show how harmful Tamar is. Just enamored in war, better believe it. We've certainly seen her be harmful inside, discourteous, with the sisters boisterous all the time, you all. So it seems to be the dramatization between Tamar Braxton and her ex Jeremy Robinson are beginning to warm up on the grounds that the two sides are presently going after one another and blaming the other for being the antagonist in the story. Well, Jeremy is currently making things a stride further on the grounds that he recently uncovered that Tamar's harmfulness is the explanation that he parted ways with her. As terrible as it sounds, individuals don't precisely fault him for feeling a kind of way, since there has been a ton of discussed Tamar in her untidy love life in the past, since she has had her reasonable portion of bond connections. And they generally finished in a poisonous and chaotic manner. Her most memorable marriage scarcely made it past the Winnie imprint before she chose to call it quit. And despite the fact that it was terrible, it was not even close as chaotic as her second separation. Her second union with Vince Harbor, the dad of her child, figured out how to keep going for a strong 9 years. And right when it appeared as though they were in it for the long stretch, Tamar dropped that separation bomb again. She likewise made some DV charges against him, asserting that he put his hands on her 2 or multiple times, that she got a limiting request against him, being got genuinely harmful for some time. Yet in the end, they figured out how to set their disparities to the side and spotlight us on co-nurturing their child. Then came David et also. And we should say that that relationship was an ensured calamity. At first it appeared as though David would have been her perfect suitor, yet the relationship finished solely after some time. And this time, David was the person who was blaming her for DB, saying that she was a poisonous accomplice who had made the relationship unendurable for him. Now, after that messy separation, she proclaimed that she was having some time off from connections to deal with herself and recuperate. Well, she gave that entire discourse about how she was attempting to be a superior individual and all of that, yet that specific goal doesn't appear to have endured extremely lengthy. In light of the fact that the following thing we realized, she was pursuing a reality dating show called Sovereign's Court. Said she was attempting to find her first love. Well, Jeremy was a challenger on the show. And that is the way they met. They had something of a hurricane sentiment, and 10 episodes later, he asked about getting married. Wow. I love you, Tar, know you where you marry me. Something advised me to believe the interaction. And I've never done anything like this. And what's the most terrible that can happen? I find love presently hurrying into marriage is quite often an extremely impractical notion for the vast majority, yet when the two individuals being referred to are Tamar and Jeremy, well, it takes it from being a poorly conceived notion to a turbulent catastrophe in the works. We as a whole realize that Tamar has had an extremely untidy history with regards to these relationship transport, yet on the off chance that there's one individual who can match her chaotic history, is Jeremy. You see, Jeremy brought his own reasonable part of stuff into the relationship, since he has 5 children with, in all honesty, 4 alternate ladies. That is a ton of child mothers. Listen, this is how things have been. Man has been circumventing making infants with each lady he meets, cause having 4 child moms in 2023 is still sort of wild. Presently haven't arrived to pass judgment on anyone's life decisions, but rather having 4 child mothers in the image is a catastrophe waiting to happen regardless of your perspective. And when you calculate Tamar's standing for being hella chaotic, it resembles a ticking delayed bomb that is standing by to explode, yet on the off chance that that is not terrible enough incidentally, that Jeremy has some serious hamburger with each of the four of his child, ma'am. We should say they won't select him for any best father grants. And from what we realize, they take each risk they can to drag him and uncover him for being a piece of work. For instance, one of his child uncovered him for cosplaying as an individual of color, despite the fact that he's totally a white man. She said he has a fixation over individuals of color. Such a lot of that he frequently alludes to himself as light-skinned white chocolate and labels himself the minority inside the minority. He would go to the club practically daily supplicating on gorgeous individuals of color. And bringing them back home, she likewise uncovered that he was shockingly impolite, presumptuous, racially harsh womanizing. And debasing, adding to that, she said he professes to be a partner of individuals and a defender of people of color. Yet his activities let us know in any case, she additionally attempted to uncover him for being a colonizing hunter that satisfies his obsession of biracial children, to additional feed his self-image and want of needing to be acknowledged among the African American population. Presently, as of now, individuals were asking Tamar to run Tamar from the relationships since it was giving harmful, yet she decided to stick next to him. And on her birthday recently, she even continued endlessly about the amount she cherished him and his children, saying it's my birthday. Yet I need to the person who puts this messy grin all over it took me some time to understand that this healthy customary love is my desired kind. And need it we have 6 kids among us. And they mean the world to me, so miss me with the he has 4 child moms, thank God for them, however. At that point another of Jeremy's child, moms disapproved of Tamar, discussing her child like that, and she remarked, let me get straight to the point as far as who might be aware me. And all who know them, this lady is not the slightest bit a reward, or stem 'em to my child doesn't mean the world to her. And she has not said thanks to God for myself. And honestly, none of his child mothers. She has said disparaging, rude, and crazy things she has put forth, no attempt to meet me, get to know me as a lady or mother, and has made my child's dad miss appearance ends of the week and birthday events now. To be fair, Jeremy attempted to go to bat for Tamar on the grounds that legend Tamar has forever been an astounding mother, and ruin my youngsters with adoration. Some of the time a distinction of assessment with no discussion to clear a miscommunication makes an awful cycle. I believe everybody should be quiet, and will give my all to cultivate that, yet it seems as though things have gone sideways on the grounds that Jeremy just took to virtual entertainment to uncover that he and Tamar separated, yet not just that, since he likewise ensured that he focused on the way that he was the person who unloaded her, and not the opposite way around. He composed Tamar and I are as of now not together. I cut off the friendship to zero, and on returning to good energy and being a superior individual, what occurred and why that is our confidential spot. No, I never deceived you. Proceeded to say I never thought often about popularity. I have consistently addressed celebrities, and truly I was in an astonishing spot monetarily and intellectually. I turned down Sovereign's Court a few times before I gave in at last. I fell head over heels, and it didn't end how I needed it, so I need to mend tomorrow. And I will constantly be loved ones for life, stunning right well, not exactly given the rough street this relationship has had from the very start. I mean, in the event that you've been staying aware of these two, you'll realize that the possibilities of the relationship working out were extremely practically nothing. I mean, getting hitched after 2 or 3 weeks. Definitely not precisely a recipe for progress. Currently, fans likewise brought up how unusual it was that he continued endlessly about how he never cheated or did anything wrong. And yet he was fundamentally implying that Tamar was the issue. I mean, he didn't precisely emerged and say that she was the issue, yet he clarified, when he said cut off the friendship to zero in on returning to good energy and being a superior individual, yet on the off chance that that is not cold for she's the issue, then I don't have the foggiest idea what is well Tamar has at long last tended to the separation, since she has made a video where she essentially rejected that she was the justification behind the separation, saying that she had been buckling down on herself. I have done a ton to chip away at my psychological wellness and change who I used to be and to who I'm presently, and I can't help assuming that individuals fall into that discernment, since it's simple. And I get it, yet I won't allow anyone to hold me hostage to my past and things that I have defeated, obviously. She said this because that she was attempting to battle the claims that Jeremy made about her being poisonous. She additionally indicated that she had been sucker punched by the separation, and